just 24 minutes ago while I'm recording this video, during my off day actually as well. Today was supposed to be my off day, but World of Tanks released quite a banger of an article about the upcoming update 1.18, which is by far one of the biggest patches we have seen in the last couple of years, because the last big patch was, you know, the Yo tanks, and even that wasn't that big, but in this patch we are going to get vehicle rebalancing, map rebalancing, completely new tech tree over here. This is actually a massive patch, the update 1.18, and in this video I'm going to take a bit deeper overview what this patch has to offer. And oh boy, you can be sure I'm going to bring you a lot of content from the update 1.18's test server, because we need to see how those new vehicles play, maybe some rebalance the tanks as well. So we have a lot of stuff to do. Let's simply dive right into it. We're going to take a look at this video as well in a moment, but if you are in a hurry, here is a quick overview what this patch has to offer. The main feature, of course, is the brand new Italian tank destroyer tech tree. If you want to get a little head start, start collecting experience with P2640, the tier 4 Italian tank, roughly I would say as much as you would need for P43, and you're able to get a head start and jump into Semovente M41 Day 1, tier 6 Passato, then the CC56, CC67, in tier 8 CC1 Mark II, and Minotauro at the very top. But the main feature, the unique feature for the Italian tank destroyers starts from tier 7, as you can see. So in tier 8 you can see this Controcarro, in tier 9 Controcarro 1 Mark II, and tier 10 Minotauro. And once again, you can be sure to smash the subscribe button with the notification bell if you do not want to miss any first gameplay action with all those vehicles, because I will provide you some for sure. We have a big vehicle rebalancing over here. Keep in mind, vehicle characteristics are not final and may be adjusted after the common test, but the Kranvagn nerf, the Emil 2 nerf is over here. Kranvagn is going to be hit quite hard with the mobility, the reload time, the BM is going to be lower as well. Same goes to the Emil basically. The AMX MLE 54 is going to be buffed, so quite a big changes over here. Definitely I will try those vehicles out and see how they perform now after buffed and after nerfed, so stay tuned for that as well. American heavy tanks also in the vehicle rebalancing list, as you can see, all those over here, the 32 and 103, those were buffed. Some over here were nerfed, you know, tuned slightly, and also changes to the individual vehicles. KV1S, Sherman, Easy 8 for example, Boogie, Skoda Boogie got nerfed if I remember correctly, and many other vehicles. TVP as well, TVP buffed guys, TVP buffed right, just like that. Did you get the chance to explore the Outpost map, for example? If not, you are in luck, as the winning location of the very first season of the Recon mode, the Outpost map will be introduced to our pool of unique arenas in update 1.18. So completely new random battle map coming as well. Like, how big can this patch be? Also, map rebalancing on the top of that. Glacier, Berlin, Pearl River, Recher, Himmelsdorf, Murovanka, all those maps are going to be balanced a bit. Coast Town, Paris, Abbey as well on the top of that. Finally, we have updated the pool of maps below here to address minor gameplay issues we noticed for Lakeville, Karelia, El Halov, Serene Coast, Siegfried Line, Murovanka, and Recher. Matchmaking changes over here as well. To improve your battle experience, we are introducing new rules for balancing light and wheeled vehicles. The matchmaker will now be stricter with balancing light tanks between teams, and will always try to match light tanks so that both teams have identical vehicles, so identical light tanks, I guess. And now the EBR balancing works already, if I'm not mistaken. You know, when enemy team has EBR, you definitely have EBR as well. We will also limit the number of wheel tanks to one vehicle per team, so there are not going to be more than one EBR per team, for example, because EBR 105, EBR 75, you know, those tanks are the biggest problems. The second important change concerns the number of SPGs per team. The majority of the battles will have 0 to 2 SPGs per team. ladies and gentlemen. From now on, the matchmaker will aim to keep the number of battles with 3 SPGs per team to an absolute minimum. The 3 SPGs per team scenario will only occur when absolutely necessary. Crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely, massive thing. Many wanted to see only 1 SPG per team, but now from 0 to 2, 2 max basically. This is so much better. Light tank balanced, matchmaker with the SPGs balanced, like how big can this patch be, right? And some other changes over here, updates to the topography mode and so on. So this was a quick update. What is coming with update 1.18? What you can expect from update 1.18? But now let's take a bit deeper look and let's watch this video together Wargaming made, and let's see, maybe we missed something or didn't talk about something. There will be a lot of new
changes in update 1.18.
Oh, a lot of changes.
Players can expect a brand new map and a number of improvements to well-known locations, as well as important adjustments to familiar tanks and a completely new branch of vehicles. And you can try it all out on the common test. Learn more about it in this quick video.
I still can't believe how big this patch is. Wow.
After a short break, we've gotten back to work on vehicle balance. Remember, these test parameters may change. At the moment, the Kranvagn and Emil-2 are performing too well in battle. So we've decided to make them a little less intimidating while still keeping their shtick, their sturdy turret and magazine. The Kranvagn will be slower. We've decreased its top forward and reverse speed to make it more of a trench vehicle. Gun handling is now less comfortable and the magazine takes longer to reload.
So the top speed was hit quite hard. We have talked about this as well. Reverse speed as well was hit quite hard. Dispersion at 100 meters, dispersion on the turret traverse, magazine reload time. Basically the main key components were hit quite hard on Kranvagn.
This will make the tank less forgiving of mistakes. The Emil-2 has undergone similar changes. Like its Tier 10 counterpart, the tank has now lost some of its dynamics and gun stats. The performance of the French heavy tanks with the cyclic guns has lagged slightly behind the competition. Now, with the upcoming changes, it will be easier for them to survive on the battlefield. This applies to all tiers except Tier 9. The AMX M4 MLE51 has been competitive from the start, so only small changes have been made to its characteristics. However,
this, by the way, this MLE was one of the, better Tier 9 heavies, right, already, and they're actually, going to make it a bit better. Yes, a bit more sluggish, but the gun handling still buffed
from the start, so only small changes have been made to its characteristics. However, the Tier 10 tank has undergone dramatic changes. The vehicle's sides are now thicker, and its HP is higher. The
I'm actually quite excited
and penetration
about this.
of both guns have been improved. The standard shells for the 120mm gun and the special shells for the 130mm now offer better penetration. At the same time, the hull traverse speed has been slightly decreased. For the Tier 8 AMX 65T, gun dispersion, durability and crossing capacity have all increased.
Well,
it will also be easier for the Tier 7 vehicle to play on the front line, thanks to its improved frontal turret armor and increased hit points. Moreover, the stats of the entire main branch of American heavy tanks have changed. The only exception is the T110 E5, which has shown decent performance since the last rebalance. The M103 is now slightly less maneuverable, but its hit points and gun stabilization have improved. The T32 will hit and penetrate easier.
This is, quite a big changes. Those are quite big changes for T32, but I would say the M103, yes, buff is a buff, we all know that, but the main issue was, the armor turret ring and stuff like that, how easy it was able to take it out, basically. Like, it didn't have anything massively good to offer to counterparty fact how easy it was to take out M1 of Reeds. But I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about his, but of course it's better to do stuff step by step than over buffing stuff and making something OP and then like waiting half a year to nerf it, or maybe a couple years to nerf it.
Hit points and gun stabilization have improved. The T-32 will hit and penetrate easier. Also, the M3 Stuart, T6 Medium, T1 Heavy and M6 have all been given a boost. On the other hand, the T-29 now takes longer to aim, load and traverse.
But the overall gameplay is still the same on D29. It just hits less now.
The M44, an American Tier 6 SPG, will cause less damage. Now the differences between the Tier 6 tank and its Tier 7 counterpart will be much more evident. A number of other mid-tier vehicles have also been rebalanced. The characteristics of the KV-1S, M4A3E8 Sherman, Type 58, TVP VTU, and 2 French tank destroyers will improve. Many of these vehicles are already popular among newcomers, which will help make their game journey smoother. At the same time, several mid-tier vehicles have lost some of their performance. And for the sake of consistency, we've made a few changes to other vehicles as well. You can read more about these changes in the article on the game portal.
This is a massive list, a massive.
The winning map from Recon Mission Season 1 is ready to enter random battles. Meet the Outpost. On this map, you'll be forced to fight nose-to-nose in the town, while tanking to your heart's content. Or you can choose to fight for the fortress on the hill. It's a risky ascent, but if successful, you'll have control over a significant part of the map.
Center like Abbey.
Further on in the swamps, you'll be able to easily set up ambushes and fight in fast vehicles.
They have changed this map a lot.
The old battlefields have also received some attention.
They have changed this map a lot since the last iteration. I don't remember having that many houses over there. The middle, a lot more buildings. A lot of changes actually to the previous version of the old
fast vehicles.
I played at least.
The old battlefields have also received some attention.
Look at the list. Big.
Update 1.18 features a number of changes to existing maps. On Moravanka, the left flank has significantly improved. Small hills and buildings now provide much more cover.
Okay.
This part of the map has become more welcoming for slow, heavily armored vehicles. In the encounter battle mode, the location of the base has also been changed. This will balance both teams' ability to control the area. In Berlin, changes to the urban area aim to strengthen the position of the right team. The balcony in square C6 has been reworked. This has been done to match the balcony on the opposite side. In addition, the map has been removed from encounter battles. The changes in Redshear aim to balance the sides in favor of the upper team. The passage to the airship is now better protected against fire from other directions. It's now much safer for scouts to depart from D6. The assault mode has been updated in favor of defense. The base and spawn points of both teams have shifted. Pearl River has also become more balanced. When playing balls,
did they say the assault was also changed? Anyway, I was saying no to this, the first position. This was the easiest assistance in the game. But that's good. That's good because, heavy tanks were getting wrecked over here, but the other side didn't have that luxury, basically.
The airship is now better. It has been updated in favor of defense.
The assault mode has been updated in favor of defense. That's good. That's freaking good because the assault on Redshear was the most unbalanced thing, and this map assault mode was the sole reason why I turned assault battles off. I didn't want to get that. I didn't want to get the defending side because defending side was losing 90% of the battles.
The base and spawn points of both teams have shifted.
The spawn
Pearl
points
River has also become more balanced. When playing from the lower spawn point, players can now get to the central passage faster, and the passage itself has become wider. There's also a new well-defended position here. The terrain on Siegfried Line has been changed slightly. Now the hill in square A7 is flatter. Moreover, the assault mode base and spawn points have moved a bit. On Lakeville, one of the most popular positions for light tanks has been improved. Now you can spot enemies in the center from one side of the house and in the city from the other. The central hill in the canyon has become easily accessible from both spawn points.
This is going to change the valley a lot.
Selective improvements have been made to the shapes and positions of several boulders. This will secure flanking from the upper base. Ghost Town. Players in heavy vehicles will feel the most significant improvements here.
Mostly perfect.
The major clash area is now covered against long-range fire. Tank destroyers that used to camp far from the center of events should look for new positions. Note that this change will affect players on both sides.
Yep.
The Paris map now features a new terrace in the corner of a house in square H7. This will make it harder for enemies in E3 to hit vehicles crossing the street. On Glacier, the path to the aircraft carrier has become much safer, and there is now more cover in both spawn areas. Artillery from the lower base is now able to assist allies on serpentine roads. This has been updated to match the conditions on the other side. On the Abbey map, there's no longer the option to hoist up in square E5. On El Halouf, changes have been made to square A1. Previously, only the upper team could comfortably play hull down here. Now, thanks to the new boulder, the position benefits both sides equally. The updates to Serene Coast are minor, but still positive. In the past, if you fell into the water, it was impossible to get out. This has now changed. And finally, Himmelsdorf. The castle and surrounding terrain are now more symmetrical. This way, the upper team will be as comfortable here as the lower team.
You see that?
Moreover, it's now easier to move and play hull down in squares D9 to E9.
It's like the other side now.
The new Italian tank destroyers will also feel comfortable tanking here, but more on that later. For now, let's talk about the Matchmaker.
All right. Let's hear it.
To improve your battle experience, we're introducing some new rules for balancing light tanks and artillery. First of all, there are new restrictions to balance the number of light-tracked and wheeled vehicles. The Matchmaker will now be stricter when balancing light tanks between teams, and will always aim to put the same number of these vehicles on each team. This means that there will be far fewer battles between teams with uneven numbers of light tanks. Wheeled vehicles will now be more strictly balanced as well, and there will be a limit of one wheeled tank per team.
That's very good, right? That's very good. But I do not remember having too many battles when one team had more light tanks than the other. The number of light tanks overall was the issue. Like when we get 5 light tank battles, 6 light tank battle, I have even seen 7 or 8 light tanks in a battle. That was the big issue as well. So that maximum number needs to be dropped down drastically. I would say 2 light tanks per team is max. Would be good, right? Perfect.
Changes and avoid a significant increase in waiting time for light tanks in a platoon. We are also introducing a limit of no more than 1 light tank in a platoon from Tier 7 onward. We're still experimenting with these restrictions, so our developers will be keeping a close eye on the Matchmaker's stability, queue fluctuations, and waiting times, then make any necessary adjustments. The second important change concerns the number of SPGs per team. The majority of battles will now have 0 to 2 SPGs per team. Starting with update 1.18, the Matchmaker will aim to keep the number of battles with 3 SPGs per team to an absolute minimum. The number of battles with 3 SPGs will greatly depend on the time of day and day of the week, as well as the number of artillery players waiting in the queue, among other things.
Yeah, so they mentioned the artillery players waiting in the queue. Well, I would say if they are going to keep the triple RT battles to absolutely minimum, that means we are very rarely going to see 0 RT battles. I would say so, because, you know, there are still artists in the queue. They're going to do it like from 0 to 2, maybe more often. Most often we are going to see 2 artists, every now and then 1 arty, but I don't know how often we are going to see 0 arty now with this, you know. You win some, you lose some.
The Matchmaker will always try to limit the number of SPGs on a team to 1 or 2, or none at all.
Other changes.
If you're having trouble finding your way around the maps, try the updated scenarios in topography. The vehicle routes and target positions are now even more consistent with the realities of random battles. Learn to play smart with topography.
Hackers.
If you're a total newbie, be sure to try out Tank Academy right after completing the initial tutorial. This series of missions will gradually introduce you to the various features of the random battles gameplay. And best of all, you'll get useful rewards. We've made some visual changes that will bring together the overall tone of the improvements in a number of ways. Now, destroying the tracks on any tank in the game will look as impressive as it does on the Yo tanks. The tracks work as a separate physical model. They react to objects around them and behave like they would in real life.
Dude, that animation, I have to give it, to the animation team, however you say that. Anyway, this looks dope. Like, props to the animators.
This configuration significantly affects performance. It should only be enabled if your PC supports a good frame rate in the game, and it will only be enabled by default with the high and ultra settings. Last but not least, the Italian tank destroyers. Get ready for a unique branch of TDs featuring armor, turrets, and very interesting guns. Their characteristics are still being tested and may change, but it's already clear that these vehicles have real character. The Tier 5 and Tier 6 vehicles are classic tank destroyers that hark back to the German roots of the Italian tank industry. Tier 7 is where the special treats of the line truly start to emerge. These vehicles have turrets with limited traverse angles and excellent gun elevation and depression angles. Their impressive armor allows them to really show off their full potential. The tanks also have a very unusual magazine, with long reloading times for each shell, but speedy reloading for the whole magazine. You're faced with a hybrid of a magazine and cyclical firing. However, further down the line, the vehicle's boosted armor transforms them into full-fledged assault TDs. In addition to its impressive armor, the Tier 8 vehicle has a sloped turret ring that allows it to keep a low profile and lower its gun just as well when traversing the turret. At Tier 9, this feature is even more striking. Here, the turret occupies the majority of the frontal projection, which will come in handy when utilizing gun elevation and depression angles. The 127mm gun continues the magazine tradition. The Contraccaro 1 Mark II will both prepare you for Tier 10 and quickly become one of the top vehicles in your garage. And at the end of the labyrinth, the Minotaur awaits. A large and sturdy turret, well-sloped armor, 10
With what? 337 hatches?
degrees of gun depression.
How do you bend that?
And an arc of fire covering 90
Well, we're going to
degrees.
find out things.
Even a 5-shell magazine dealing 530 HP of damage each. The entire magazine may reload very quickly, but the individual shells take a long time. Think of it as a regular gun with an incredibly quick reloading time, but a tolerable penalty of 24 seconds every 5 shots. And to spice it all up, great penetration.
You need to do a lot of bluffing
The
in this
Contraccaro 3
vehicle.
Minotauro
Real bluffing.
can provide impressive fire support, or it can lead the attack and break through enemy defenses with its strong head. The bull lowers its horns, stomps the ground with its hoof, and the enemy better step aside. You can test this vehicle and all the other changes during the common test.
Oh, we are going to do
Subscribe
that.
to stay up to date on all World of Tanks news, and good luck on the test battlefield.
Oh, yeah, guys. Where do we even start? Update 1.18. As I said before, stay tuned. Click the subscribe button, click the bell button. We have a lot of testing to do. Jesus. What do you think about all of this, ladies and gentlemen? Matchmaker, new tanks, new map rebalancing. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you excited about this patch? Are you hyped? Are you not hyped? You want more? What is your opinion about that? Let me know in the comment section down below. I get you next time with something else beautiful. Stay beautiful, stay sexy, take care, and bye.